folks, welcome into the AfterSchrock. Good to have you here. We're going to give everybody just a moment to get connected because this is that weird, awkward time where I think we're connected, but I'm not sure if we're connected. So if you can hear me, welcome into the AfterSchrock. I'm glad to have you here. If you can't hear me yet, well then you can't hear me and it doesn't matter what I'm saying. So this is what they call filler in the industry. This is the art of just talking about nothing for a period of time in an interesting way so that if someone was watching or listening, they would know that you're there and talking, but you're not actually saying anything of consequence, but you're engaging people to keep them watching. And I think we have people tuning in now, so that's great. All right, I always want to give it a little slow roll at the beginning to give time for people to get logged in and find the program. So, interesting stuff. I wanted to remind everybody to make sure if you were going to enter to win that free laptop, that Intrepid laptop from Schrock, it's a $700 laptop, guys. We're going to be giving it away, I believe, next week. So make sure that you go to SchrockInnovations.com and click on that black banner to make sure you vote in the Best of Omaha competition, and then register your vote there with us. Give us your email address and everything, so that way we know and you can do the extra entries. If you haven't done the extra entries yet, it's a force multiplier, guys. Like, I haven't looked to see, honestly, how many entries that we have in that for quite a while here. So I'm going to pop this open real quick and take a look, and it'll tell me how many are there. And if I assume that everybody has done all of the entries, all 10 things, I can guess to about how many people are entered. And you know, not everybody is going to do all 10 things. Some people don't have a Facebook account. Some people don't have a Google account. You know, so different things like that are going to come along the way. But I'll assume, for the sake of polite conversation, that everyone did all 10 things because it makes the math really easy. So if I go here and I'm going to scroll down. All right, it says we have 1,767 total entries with 4 days left. So if you do the math, that's 176 people who have entered. So you have a 1 in 176 chance of winning that free laptop. And if you did all 10 things, because you know not everybody did, your odds are substantially greater. If everybody did one thing and you did 10, you have a much higher chance of winning than if you didn't do the 10. So if you want to do it, great. If you don't want to do it, great. I'd appreciate it. If you want to win a laptop, I love giving you one. So we'll go ahead and check that out. Go to SchrockInnovations.com and then click on the black banner in the middle to vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. Also, in other news, so you guys, on Monday, you remember the windstorm, right, that came through? And by the way, if you have questions for the AfterSchrock, if you have specific things you want me to talk about, please list them now or make a comment now. And once I've done the little monologue-y thing here, I'll scroll through those and grab any questions that are out here too. But last Monday, I was on the road to Des Moines to do some final touches in the service center to get it ready for the soft open this week. And I'm driving down the road, and I was leaving Papillion, and I knew it was going to rain. There was going to be a little wind, but it wasn't supposed to be. It was like a thunderstorm watch. It wasn't a big deal, right? So I'm driving to Iowa, and the sky behind me doesn't look particularly black or nasty looking. It's not like I didn't realize I was like literally 15 minutes ahead of a huge windstorm. There was just no indication of that. So I get to Des Moines, and I park my truck, and I unload everything into the service center, and I'm going about my stuff, and the sky gets a little darker. Oh, it's going to rain. The sky gets a little darker, and then I look outside, like little trees are bent over, and I'm like, what is going on? And then all of a sudden I hear sirens. Whirr, and I'm like, oh, golly, I'm from Nebraska. That's a tornado siren. That means there's a tornado confirmed touchdown somewhere on the ground. That's what that means in Nebraska anyway. Apparently it means something different in Iowa. We'll get to that. So, oh gosh, a tornado siren. And I take out my phone and I search, and yes, there's a severe thunderstorm warning. It's moved from a watch to a warning, but a severe thunderstorm is just rain and lightning and thunder and wind. Like, it's a severe thunderstorm. Yes, it could become a tornado. I understand that, but it's not yet. Well, then why are the sirens going off? Something's not right here. My phone is not giving me accurate information. The interwebs are failing me. But luckily, in the Des Moines Service Center, we found some screaming hot deals on these Roku TVs on Amazon. Literally, we bought our TVs on Amazon for the service center because it was like a 60-inch 4K television for $267. When did that happen? They're nice TVs too. So I went ahead and we got 3 of them for the service center. mounted them up on the walls, and there were these Roku TCL televisions. So I go and we hadn't like wired them up or hooked them up yet because we just got them mounted on the wall. That was one of the things I was there to do that day. So I plugged in the power for one of them. I got batteries in the remote control, and I turn it on, right? And sirens. I'm like, okay, let's get the TV on and get the local news going here, so at least I know what's going on. And it's like, welcome to Roku. Okay, hit OK to continue. Okay. To set up your TV, you'll need a web browser. What? It's been a long time since I set up a Roku, guys. I was like, oh, you got to be kidding me. All right, luckily there's a front desk computer right beside the TV. So, okay, roku.com/setup. Enter the code from your TV. WXT, whatever, enter. Okay. Look at all these great offers. Do you want these free trials of all these channels? Do you want this channel? No. Do you want that channel? No. Woo! The tornado's coming for me, guys. It's going to sweep me off the face of the earth. Meantime, I'm just setting up a Roku here, but don't mind me, 50,000 questions later. No. Do you want it to track your data? I don't care, because there's not going to be anyone watching this thing. Finally, I'm through the setup. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. So now I do the scan, the channel scan for the over-the-air channels. Channel scan, go. Okay. Takes like 15, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, a minute. Woo! The sirens quit. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness. That's good, right? Thing comes and sirens are gone, so yeah, the weather's over. TV says, no channels found. Oh, of course, I don't have an antenna hooked up. Not important, whatever, let's get back to work. Sirens are gone now, so whatever. So I start working again, doing something. Sirens come back. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. All right, I need an antenna. I don't have an antenna here. We don't have a junk drawer in the Des Moines Service Center yet because we don't have any junk. So I'm like, paperclip. A paperclip will work. So I grab a paperclip. Bend it all out, and I straighten it up, and I bend a little end on it and stick it up like a little antenna. It's a little 2-inch antenna, right? Like MacGyver this thing. And I reach up behind the TV, and I stick it in that little coax hole, and then I rescan for OTA channels. A minute later, I've got 5 channels. Boom! All right. And I'm going through them, and it looks like, when you were a little kid, and you were trying to watch, like, the movie channels that you didn't have a subscription for, and you could kind of sort of watch them, but they were all scrambled up. It kind of looked like that, but I had audio at least. So I was like, okay, I can deal with just audio. And it was just severe thunderstorms. There were no tornadoes. So apparently in Des Moines, when there is a high wind event that is not a tornado or a severe thunderstorm maybe, a warning, they will sound the sirens. Good to know. The things you learn when you go to a city you don't live in, right? Like tornado sirens in Des Moines don't necessarily mean tornado. Or maybe they have separate sirens. Maybe those were the severe thunderstorm sirens. So somebody watching from Des Moines, please enlighten me why the sirens were going off for a thunderstorm. Now, afterwards, the wind event was epic. It was some straight line winds. It knocked out power for like 30,000 people in the Des Moines area. Justin, our senior technician in the Des Moines Service Center, his home was out of power. So he actually hung out at the service center because it was hot that day. He didn't have power for a couple days. So a lot of people were without power. Same thing in Omaha. A lot of people without power here as well. So anyway, I'm just curious, like this, what do the sirens mean? It might be a good thing for me to know. I mean, all my employees, I can ask them too, but they've been living there, they know, but whatever. So make sure, if you're worried about severe weather, make sure you set up your Roku television before the sirens go off. Because all those special offers, I didn't get time to read any of them, There may have been a valuable subscription offer there that I could have taken advantage of, but I had no time to do it. So anyway, maintenance checkups are on special at Schrock. It's going on this week. It'll probably be carried through into next week as well because we're timing the maintenance checkup special in our 3 normal service centers to coincide with the free maintenance checkups we are giving away in Des Moines. So if you're in the Des Moines market, you don't need to go purchase a certificate for a maintenance checkup because the Des Moines Service Center will be giving them away for free for like a month. So you can get in there. You'll have plenty of time to make it in. No huge rush. I noticed in the comments that people were saying they were starting to hear our commercials on radio and TV in Des Moines. Cool thing there is we are saturating the market, guys. The average person on TV alone is going to see a Schrock ad 3 times in the next 2 weeks, if that tells you anything. And how many people are actually watching that much over-the-air television anymore. And then, of course, the radio listeners, we have 3 different morning shows in the Des Moines market that are all going to be offering or talking about Schrock innovations during the morning shows. We have commercial schedules saturating as well. Literally, if you consume any local media in the Des Moines market, you're going to hear about Schrock innovations in the next few days. Right now, those messages are Schrock innovations is coming soon. The point of all of these messages is to say, hey, this is something different. This is something that Des Moines has never seen before. This is a different kind of computer company than what you're used to here. It's all to increase name recognition. Because on the 24th, the commercials all change. We start talking about the specials. Come in and get a free maintenance checkup. Come in and get a 30% off a computer. Come in and get free computer repair. All these big specials going on in the Des Moines market. All the Facebook ads are going to be going crazy in your feeds and everything. It's going to be nuts. So the week of the 24th, if we do not get our rear ends handed to us, I will be disappointed. Because we are expecting a completely overwhelming response. We're talking about that week bringing down an extra front desk person from our Omaha Service Center to work in the Des Moines Service Center, or maybe even the Papillion Service Center to work in the Des Moines Service Center. We're talking about me being there personally to help, Parker, my operations manager, being there personally to help as well. So we have a full crew plus 2 higher level managers plus an extra front desk. That's how busy we are expecting to be the week of the 24th. Of course, the 23rd, I'll be doing 2 Compute This radio shows next Sunday. I'll be doing the show live from KFAB here in the studio. Also, we'll be doing the show live from WHO at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll probably do some kind of an AfterSchrock between the shows. I might do one after the show in Des Moines, too. I don't want to bore you guys, and, I got to have unique stuff to talk about, or it's not interesting to watch, right? So if we're not talking about Thor getting swept away by a tornado while he sets up his Roku TV, no one's going to watch that. But on the other hand, if I have some good content, there's so much inside baseball stuff that the general listenership wouldn't care to listen to. I've actually taken to journaling, and it's funny because in my journal I've realized the other day I'm only writing about work. It's almost like I'm trying to get the work out of my head and onto the paper so that I can push my kids into swing and not think about work. Or take out my phone and maybe open a game instead of opening my email and opening my how many Google chats do I have to respond to, or how many Facebook messages are there that maybe the staff hasn't gotten to yet, trying to keep that messenger chat number below an hour to respond. You get it down to 4 minutes again. So yeah, literally we have more people than ever authorized to do chats online because everybody wants to chat. You can now submit requests for quotes through Google right on our Google business page. It's absolutely nuts. So all these things are popping on my phone all day long. And then all the stuff for Des Moines, we just bought a vehicle for Parker, my operations manager, to drive. He's going to need a vehicle to drive back and forth to Des Moines. We know there's going to be customers in Des Moines that want to do pickup and drop off, so I got to go buy a Fiesta. A little Ford Fiesta, but there's a Ford dealership 2 blocks from our Des Moines Service Center. I think it's time to go make some friends in Des Moines. Number one, let's go do some business in the local market. Let's give back to the local business market that we are a part of. We joined the West Des Moines Chamber of Commerce as well, so that when there are opportunities to give back and do charitable events and charitable giving things, that we can be a part of that. We'll hear about it, because I'm not always local in the market, right? And I want us to be a local force for good in every market that we're in. I want us to be donating to the Fraternal Order of Eagles. I want us to be doing the spaghetti feed, giving a gift card away for a spaghetti feed auction for the kid with cancer. I want Schrock to be that company that will be there for people, not just when people need computer help, but just a valuable contributing member to the economy, to the local, not just the economy, but the local community. But it's hard to do that when you don't live there and you're not on a daily basis in there. So right now, I'm pretty much going to be living in Des Moines the next couple weeks, right? Because I'll be there virtually every day. But over time, I'll make it down there once, twice a week, just like I do with all my other service centers. I try to touch each of them once or twice a week, just to make sure, everything is going well and nobody has any frustrations, or they're not missing a tool that they need that they're afraid to ask for, or maybe they just forgot to ask for, things like that. So anyway, and the other thing is I don't know how the DMV works in Des Moines right now with the Rona, and if I buy a vehicle in Nebraska and drive it to Iowa and plate it in Iowa, I have to do a cross-state inspection and stuff. that could be problematic right now. So I don't know if I want to deal with all that. So so let's just buy it at the dealership in Iowa and call it good. It does a lot of good things for us. I see one additional person just entered the laptop giveaway contest too. Good to go. Or one person maybe did an extra entry. Let's say could be one or the other. Let's see. So there's all kinds of stuff for the Des Moines Service Center that's Des Moines specific that I can talk about on a Des Moines radio show. But the radio show that we do next Sunday in Des Moines, most of the people listening to us on WHO already know who we are, which is great. I won't have to do the hi, this is Thor, this is who I am, the getting to know you show. Instead, I can say, you've been listening to us offer our products and services for 2 years. You know what a maintenance checkup is. You know what a modular computer is. You know what a solid state laptop is. You know what Drive Advisor is. You know what Secure Updater is. You know what Endpoint is. Let me tell you how you can save a boatload of money right now at our service centers. Get in on this. So if you're watching from the Des Moines market, or maybe you're in the Council Bluffs market, and you're like, you know, I go to Papillion or I go to Omaha because I'm in Council Bluffs, but maybe I would drive to Des Moines, check in with some family, drop my computer off. You're more than welcome to come for the soft opening, which is going to start on Tuesday the 18th. So on the 17th, we're going to be there for a half day. We're going to be putting the staff through all the motions, like a dress rehearsal. Do you have Office installed on your computer? Is your email set up? Are there any emails you need to respond to? Let's do a phone check. Make sure voicemail works. Let's make sure all 3 phone lines work at the same time. Let's make sure the hold music works. You know, all these stupid things that you don't check until they break, we're going to check them all. Then, are we missing any tools? Is there anything? If we're going to clone hard drives, do we have the software installed to clone the drives? Do we have all the adapters to hook up the drives? You know, what do we need that we don't have? And then I can bring that all down on Tuesday from Nebraska, from one of the existing service centers, to make sure on Tuesday morning, to make sure that we are good to go on Tuesday at 10 to open for the soft opening. The next thing is, there's one of 3 things that are going to happen during the soft opening, because I've never opened a service center in a pandemic before. Unlikely, but got to acknowledge the possibility. Crickets. Nothing. Hey, we're here! Nothing. That would be really, really, really bad. I don't expect that to happen based on the number of people who have asked for invites to the soft opening. I think we're going to be pretty busy. We're not going to be as busy as the grand opening because we're limiting the number of invites. We still have a few, like a couple dozen left. It's not like an appointment slot, right? It's just, hey, I want to come in for the soft opening, which is between the 18th and the 23rd. We will not have a sign over the service center yet. There's no sign up that says Schrock Innovations. It's on the door, but it's not above this. That's going up on this coming Friday, so that we have it for the grand opening, which is the next following Monday. But during the soft open, we're going to be limiting the number of people in the service center because we want to make sure that our staff can get everything taken care of. We're not going to be quite as efficient as normal because everyone's going to be learning where the screwdrivers are and learning where the adapters are and how everything is just... The service centers are designed the same, but everything is always just slightly different because you can't get the same toolbox that you had at the other shop. It's a similar toolbox, but it has 3 different drawers on it. So what do you put in those drawers, right? So we don't have a junk drawer. Find that in the junk drawer. Well, we don't have a junk drawer. So these are the things that happen in a service center that need to be worked out. That's what the soft opening is for. But during that soft opening, you can come in at a time where there are fewer people in the service center. Social distancing won't be a problem. So if you are crowd averse, if you're concerned about coronavirus, maybe you or your family members have a health condition that makes them particularly vulnerable, and you're just being extra cautious, you can come for the soft open, and that way you avoid the crowds during the grand opening. There won't be any balloon towers or any crazy thing like that, but we do have some giveaways and some door prizes and things like that we'll be randomly awarding. We have little 2-ounce bottles of hand sanitizer made, so we're going to give everybody one of those till they're gone. But you know, we have a few other little extras that we'll be giving away just to let you know thank you for stopping in. We appreciate you coming in and checking out the soft open. We also have a few door prizes to give away. Stupid little things like, you know, those battery backups for your phones and things like that, like a spare battery, stuff like that. Little things that we'll give away that are fun. So definitely, if you're in the Iowa market, give us a call, 402. You can call any shop, okay? Any existing service center. 402-423-9595 is the Lincoln Service Center. You can give them a call. You can just leave a voicemail, or you can talk to Eli, and he will get you added to our customer database for the soft open. The soft open, we are going to be sending a phone call to everybody who is going to be invited to the soft open. That phone call will be going out on Monday, starting around 10 a.m. It's not going to be a call. It's going to be a robocall. So if you're on the do not call registry, you will not get that call. Second thing is we're going to be sending an email to everybody to invite them. So watch your inbox. If we have an email address for you, we will send it. If we don't have an email address for you, we obviously can't send you an email. If the email goes to spam or bulk, because we'll be sending a few of them, so sometimes those go to bulk, make sure that you whitelist Schrock Innovation so you see emails in the future. So add them to your contact list or whitelist them in your email program so that way you will see us in the future. And as a last resort, on Monday, if we go through the walkthrough and everything is kosher pickles, everything looks good, everyone's kind of sitting around like we're supposed to be here till 3, there's nothing to do, we're going to start manually calling the invite list to literally say, hey, we're ready for you to come in. You can come in anytime starting tomorrow at 10, just to let you know we're available and ready to go. So those are the 3 ways we plan on reaching out to everybody. We might send a text message as well to people who we have cell phone numbers for. We haven't decided to do that yet, but we might do that. It's just a matter of if we save that for the grand opening, because I'm a really big fan of alerting customers about things, but not over alerting, because what do they call that? Wearing out your welcome. We don't want to send you 5,000 text messages, 14 emails, and 5 robocalls the first week we're open. That's annoying. That's not a good way to make friends, and we want friends. All right, let's check and see what we got for questions here. Charles made the jump. Congratulations. Welcome, the top fan, Charles. We appreciate you being here with us. Roger, top fan, I'm with you. And the thing popped up. There we go. And having more coffee. I like it. All righty. And then Alan says, hi, Phil. I don't know what it is. Like when I say my name is Thor, people think I say my name is Forrest or Phil. It's weird. But yeah, my name is Thor, Thor. But I'm glad to have you here, Alan. He laughed. I think he did it on purpose. All right, top fan Mark is joining us. Good to have you. Top fan Dennis, good to have you here as well, my man. Excuse me. Coffee and me ready, says Deborah. You need to drink the coffee. Then it's like coffee and I'm ready. But before you drink the coffee, it's coffee, me ready. Caveman style. Cavewoman. Richard's here. Good to have you, buddy. Richard number 2. No, same Richard. Alrighty. Roger, top fan. You should have went to WHO radio and they would have told you what was going on. I should have done that, but ironically, one of the things that we do not have in the service center that I added to the list is a radio. Now, I could have gone online to WHO.com. We don't have any speakers set up on the computers in the shop. Because if I put speakers on the computers, everybody thinks they can listen to whatever music they want, and then it gets a little messy. But we do need one set of speakers hooked up in the shop so that we can have some music in the back room for the guys to listen to while they're working, just background noise. So I did get all that set up on Monday. That was one of the things I was there to set up. But I got stuck on the TV thing, and the Roku was just... It became a personal mission at that point. All right, Lori, you're receiving these pop-up messages continuously about having to install a new version of Malwarebytes. The first thing is Malwarebytes is a free program. They also have a paid version. But when their program is out of date, it will pop up and ask you to install the new version. It will also continuously pop up and try to sell you a subscription. If you have paid for Malwarebytes, you should install the new version. If you have not paid for Malwarebytes, there is no need to pay for Malwarebytes. Malwarebytes is not great antivirus. If you have our Semantic Endpoint product, you are good to go. You do not even need to have Malwarebytes installed on the computer unless you want it there to do a manual, like a second opinion, a manual scan. So you can just uninstall Malwarebytes and that will take care of those pop-up messages permanently for you, because as soon as you upgrade to the new version, you're going to start getting pop-ups about buying the pro version, and it's just going to be just the same number of pop-ups. Every 5 seconds you look down, there's a notification that your Malwarebytes is a free trial starting or whatever, and you have to buy the pro version. So if you don't use it, if you don't run scans, just uninstall it and you'll be fine. So Robert, you're telling me, Robert B, that when the winds are over 70 miles an hour, they sound the sirens no matter what in Des Moines. That's good to know. I mean, honestly, I had no idea, and the winds were over 70 miles an hour. You see some of that crop damage? It was crazy. Northeast of Des Moines are not towns and homes, and they still do not have electricity. Oh, wow. Northeast of Des Moines are towns and homes that still do not have electricity. Yeah, I was talking with Justin, and he said that the estimates were some of the places would be without electricity for up to 13 days while they restore everything. So that's pretty crazy. Yep, still without power in Cedar Rapids. And thank you. And Carolyn's joining us. Good morning from Round Rock, Texas. Heard about the storm in Iowa all the way down here. Sounded really bad. Yeah, we're good. It was just a high wind event. It was really crazy. Like, it wasn't tornadic. We have an above ground pool in the backyard, which at the time when we put it in, it was like one of those things like, oh, this will be cool, right? And then like 2 years later, we were like, this is so much work. And in Pandemicville, we're like, yay, we have our own pool. This is nice, right? And it's like an 18-foot above ground pool. It's nothing super fancy. It was going boom, 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 boom. Like if you were squeezing a paper cup, it looked like that. My wife thought we were going to have this 18,000-gallon pool go in the backyard and wash like the fences away and stuff. Like, welcome to 2020. High winds, floods, sickness, pestilence, locusts. Why not? Aliens. That's next, right? Aliens. They came down and they're like, we heard about Trump's brother's death, or something like that. We wanted to express our condolences personally. We come in peace. Wah! Why not? It's 2020. It could happen. All right, Jeremy, if a windstorm meets a certain threshold, tornado sirens will sound. It happened in Douglas County a few years ago. Gotcha. So it was a high wind event, basically not a tornado, but enough damage to do damage like a tornado. Sirens will go off if winds are expected to be over 80 miles an hour, and that's nationwide. Okay. Yep, Roger, WHO Radio is one of the stations. Obviously, the radio show is there, so we figured we should run ads on WHO as well. But they're one of the stations that we are running our morning show endorsements, as well as regular ad rotations throughout the day as well. You probably heard them all. They're all the coming soon ads. We're coming. Roger's like, I know, right? And you're like, oh, I knew about Schrock before they were even popular here in Des Moines. I'm such a cultured individual. So you can tell your friends. Oh, golly. Do you have enough parking, Keith asks. I think so. The parking situation over at the Des Moines Service Center, the beautiful thing is it's front door parking. You can park right in front of the door, bring your computer in. Whenever I have gone there in the morning or early afternoon, I have been able to park my F-350 right in front of the door to unload my stuff. The only time it gets a little tricky is we have a lot of restaurants and breweries around us. So around 6 o'clock, 6:30, the parking lot does get a little busy. It starts to fill up a little bit because people are going to the brewery or they're going to Wasabi to eat. And all the other shops are closed. The chiropractor's office is closed. Everything like that is shut down. But we're still there till 8. So I would say between 6 and 8, the parking gets a little dicier, but otherwise it's great. There's plenty of parking for everybody. Alrighty. Dennis asks, what made you choose not to serve mobile devices? Maybe you mean service multiple devices on mobile devices. I'm not sure, but we don't do a lot with smartphones and tablets and repairing them. Partially because Apple has made it very difficult to do that work. The second thing is mobile repair. There's two types of mobile repair. There's guys who know what they're doing, and then there's guys who work in the mall kiosk or the fix-it-fast places. The training that goes into the people that work at the fix-it-fast or iFix places, they are not. The training is non-existent. I have personally taken my device to a particular place in town that I won't mention. I've taken 3 different devices there just because, I could do it, but I don't have time. And if I can go find somebody who's a professional, who's trained, and that's what I thought I was getting. I knew the owner of the company. That's what I thought I was getting. No, I wasn't. I was getting a guy who put the wrong color, who thought I had an iPad version, whatever, when I didn't. Ordered the wrong part. I had to wait weeks for the part. This is before the pandemic. They fixed my smartphone, but they put the wrong color body on it. And they're like, yeah, if you're an LSU fan, that phone's going to look pretty boss. And I'm like, but I'm not. And it looks stupid. And when I go to resell this phone later, it's going to look stupid unless I sell it to an LSU fan. So I want the right black body for my phone, please. Take an iPad there. Every iPad I've ever taken there, they have not been able to fix. Every single one. We don't know. It doesn't work. Sorry, can't fix it. The latest thing during the pandemic, there was concern that they can't get parts. So I took an iPad in and I brought parts with me. Said, here are the parts. And I understand you can't warranty the parts, but I'll pay you your full labor rate. I just don't have time to mess with it. Please assemble it for me. Trying to help local businesses out, right? And it's just terrible. So the challenge is to get the people and the tools and the equipment to do the job right. You can't fix a phone for $50. And if we charge $110 for an hour of labor to fix a phone, we're going to lose the job to every place out there that charges $50. Now, you'll have to take it there twice or 3 times to get it fixed right. They'll use a cheap part for the first repair until you come back under warranty. When the part fails, then they'll replace it with a grade A part, because that's how all of these places work. They always try the cheap parts first, because 70% of the time they can get away with it. 30% of the time it makes you come back and they do it again. And we all have time to take our phones and go without them for half a day while we wait for a repair that's supposed to take 30 minutes or less, but never does. You see what I'm saying? It's just not worth it. It's not worth it. And it's not that these companies are bad companies or that there aren't, good technicians somewhere in these companies, because they all have at least one good tech. Otherwise, they wouldn't be where they are. But the problem is when they try to scale, when they go from one location to 3 or 4 locations, they can't scale that one good tech all over the place. So they do online training courses, and they print the certificate. I'm a certified Apple repair person, and hang it on the wall. But yet my Apple devices don't get fixed right. It's not a fun thing to do, and it's getting harder and harder to fix everything. So the challenge is eventually, unless there's a right to repair legislation that happens, these places are all going to go under. And that's one of the reasons why they're now starting to compete with Schrock. They're starting to do computer repairs because they can't make it fixing phones at $50 a piece. We understand that. We know that. So originally we thought to ourselves, you know what, we'll start fixing phones. We'll do it free and just get rid of these guys, run them under. And I'm like, you know what, we don't have to do that. This problem is going to take care of themselves. If you have service that makes a customer come back 2 or 3 times, that doesn't fix half the devices they bring in, they're not going to be a serious problem, competitively speaking. So, you know what? We have all the tools and stuff. We can do it. We do it for friends. If you're a customer and you say, Thor, my screen is cracked, can you replace it for me? We'll do it. We'll do it. It's nothing we advertise. It's nothing we publicly talk about. One of the other things that we do that we don't talk a lot about is game console repair. We fixed 4 Xboxes this week in the Papillion Service Center alone. So, yeah, they're just computers. The same thing. All right. Good morning, Mitch. Good morning, Alan. Good to see you. Dennis, I see you're not servicing cell phones or mobile phones. What made you decide this? Yep, so there you go, Dennis. Let's see, Cedar Rapids and Marion. Yeah, Marion's out of power too. Have you ever thought of expanding toward the west, like Grand Island? Scott, I don't know if are you the same person that asks like every 3rd show if we're coming to Grand Island, or is there really like a groundswell of demand for Grand Island? Because literally, I get requests to put a service center in Grand Island once a week. Literally once a week. Grand Island is definitely a community that needs a computer repair shop. You guys had one left that did consumer level repairs, but even they eventually said it's too hard to make it in the consumer business. We want to be a business services place, because that's where all the money's at, all the MSP stuff. MSP is like a service provider where you're getting paid a monthly stipend to manage patches, antivirus, things like that. And what Schrock has done is basically we've taken the MSP model and we leverage it for customers. So your endpoint is an MSP product. Yeah. It's literally, we're being your internet security service provider with secure updater and endpoint. You want them both because they work as a team, as a pair. You can have one or have the other and get you better coverage than having nothing, but having them together gets you perfect coverage. And that's what we do. Maintenance, same thing. Preventative maintenance twice a year. We put them on sale so you guys will come do them. Right now, I do understand that it's very challenging to go without your computer even for a day. That is why we are working harder than ever to get things turned around as quickly as possible, number one. And number two, we don't usually talk about our expedite service, because if everybody expedites their computer repair, is it still an expedite? Because we only have 2 or 3 technicians at a time in the service center. And if I'm going to take one tech for that $50 expedite fee and task them with just your computer from start to finish continuously, not working on anything else, well, we only can do that 2 or 3 people at a time, right? So we don't talk about it a lot, so that when people come to the counter and they're freaked out or they're worried about it, we can offer that, and then they say, yes, let's do it. But right now, there's a lot of people who aren't even coming in because that's a problem. So we do have an expedite service. We can use it. If you don't need it, please don't ask for it. But if you need it, it's there for you. It costs $50 extra, but that takes your maintenance checkup price back up to normal price, because it's about a $50, $45 discount. But it gets the job done for you. Alrighty. So yeah, Grand Island, it's definitely on the map because of so many requests. So right now we're doing Des Moines. Right now we have our radio show starting to air in Missouri and Kansas on KMBZ. So you're hearing the show there live as well. But basically we are working toward expanding the company. We want to double the size of the company in the next 5 years. So the first step is we have to make sure that the model that we started in Lincoln successfully scaled to Omaha. Did it successfully scale to Omaha because Thor could be at any service center he needed to be at within 30 minutes? Or did it successfully scale because the systems are good and the systems work? So we opened one up in Des Moines. It's 2 hours away. I can't be there in 30 minutes. If something goes sideways, I need a team of people there that know their stuff, that can deliver the service that we expect them to deliver as Schrock employees. And I think we have an amazing team. Shelly is phenomenal. Oh my gosh. You know how long it has been since we hired a home run front desk? Like a front desk that was like, wow. It's been years. Years. We brought one front desk for Omaha back out of retirement because we couldn't find someone to do her job as well as she could do it. And she's training Shelly, and she's saying Shelly's got it. And I'm like, you have no idea what a compliment that is coming from her. No idea. Like, wow. The technicians we've got, just amazing, solid, good people. Do you know how hard it is to hire good, decent people? I'm not talking about great technicians. I'm not talking about great salespeople or great customer service people, but having that core in the beginning. This is the difference between going to Chick-fil-A, if you're from the Nebraska area, going to Chick-fil-A in Papillion, it's like sunshine and lollipops. Everyone is your friend, and you believe it because they mean it, because they're good, decent people. Go to the Chick-fil-A in Bellevue. Let's just say there's no sunshines and lollipops coming through the windows in Bellevue. Chick-fil-A has a serious problem with that Bellevue location. Big time. And it's consistently bad. It's not an anomaly. Every single time we go, it's terrible. We don't go anymore because it's terrible every time. We don't want to have that experience. We have 3 great Schrock locations. I don't want to have an outlier that's bad. And so that's something we have to address that. We have to make sure our systems can handle that. Some things are going to work great. Some things we're going to learn some lessons. That's what the soft open is for, guys. So we can learn those lessons with our most loyal, dedicated people, our most forgiving customers will be there for that part. And they're going to get some great deals and specials, so we're giving back to them as well. But then we know what's going to work and what's not going to work. We can make adjustments and we can do it right. That's the whole point. All righty. Yeah, the hiring people is an art, and I have to tell you, Parker has done an amazing job. We just offered a position to a guy for our Omaha service center that works at DoSpace here in Omaha. We're like, oh my gosh, if he's training at DoSpace, that's phenomenal. But the thing is, in his Zoom interview, right? He's sitting in a chair, and there's like a back on the chair. I don't know if you can see this right here. There's like a back right here, and he had the fresh morning, the wet look. You know, his hair was curly, and he had just gotten cleaned up for the interview. You could tell. But then the chair behind him, you couldn't tell if it was like a big old long mullet hanging down off the back, or if it was just the top of his chair. I was looking at the picture that Parker showed me. I'm like, is that a mullet? Like, I haven't seen one of those in years. I mean, we might just hire this guy because he has a mullet. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? We don't have any employees with mullets. You know, it's like we got a Thor. We have a Gabriel, like a solid biblical name there. You know, We've got a Parker. You don't hear too many Parkers. That's pretty cool. We have Elijah in the Omaha Service Center and Kane. I mean, come on. We got some serious power names going. And then you go to Des Moines, and you've got Shelly, Cheley. Yeah, she's got the twist there, but it's Shelly. And then you've got Justin. You know, so we had like total normal name people. Logan. You know, I mean, it's a Wolverine, right? I mean, so Logan, okay, that could be cool. But that's maybe a Marvel name. Though, you could go with the Thor and the Marvel thing there. That could work out. We need a Peter, right? Then we could have Bible and Marvel. It would work out really well. So anyway, I'm blabbling on now about stuff that doesn't matter. Last call for questions, guys. We got the last call for questions. Oh, and I want to throw out this. Carolyn just mentioned that she talked to Shelly last week, and she was great. Carolyn, Shelly singled you out when she spoke with me about how honored and how happy she was to have this job at Schrock. The day that we offered Shelly the position to come work at Schrock Innovations in the Des Moines Service Center, she was scheduled to start another job that she had accepted. It wasn't a job she really necessarily wanted, but she needed a job, right? She was with an employer that had laid her off or had furloughed her for COVID reasons, and they kept telling her, they kept stringing her along. We're going to be back. We're going to come back. You're going to come back. And then eventually she just said, you know, it's been months, guys. I can't do this anymore. I've got kids. You know, we got a family. I've got to have a job. And so she reluctantly left to go take another job. So we called her, and she called the job that she was supposed to be starting that day, and she said, guys, the job that I am meant for has opened up for me, and I have to take it. And I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry to leave you hanging, but I have to do this. This is the job that I was meant to have. And so then, I believe that was her second day that you talked to her, Carolyn. Carolyn tells her, welcome to the family. And you nearly made her cry. I mean, literally, she was like, this is where I'm meant to be. This is where I'm meant to be. This is amazing. And Shelly is amazing. Did you know, she mentioned in her interview she used to work for D&H, and she worked as an ASUS rep, right, for D&H. She worked with ASUS directly. And we thought, oh, that's cool. She's familiar with ASUS products, whatever. No. She's got the phone numbers. She's got the digits of the guys at ASUS. So we can now call them and say, dude, why aren't we getting any laptops? What's the holdup? And they tell us, we're not supposed to tell anybody this, but you have to have an end user's name to get a laptop from us right now. Oh, good to know. Now all we have to do is send in a list of names. Completely made up names. Let's get the phone book. I've been looking for a reason to use this thing. Let me take it out of my seat. There we go. These are the 10 names we need ASUS laptops for today. Go. Yeah, it's crazy. Send us your phone books, guys. We're going to need a lot of names for the Des Moines grand opening, I think. Just an amazing hire, amazing woman. She came into the service center. You know, we're a little slow this time of year. What's a little pandemic slow? I mentioned repairs have been slow, so there's not a lot of check-ins happening. A lot of people buying computers, but not a lot of check-ins for repairs happening. So the bench turnaround times are great right now because the technicians are very quick to jump on anything that needs to be done and get it done fast. She's finding tasks to do. She's cleaning. She remade the signs on the windows that are internal signs that we look at, but she said when the customer sees them from the other side of the window, they're just pieces of paper. We should print our logo on the back of those. Just those little extras, those little touches that go so far. And she's not the only one. All the guys that are hired for Des Moines have been doing the same thing. They're on the phones. They are doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They're helping the service centers out they're not even going to work at, going above and beyond just because they're there and there's stuff to be done. Just good, solid people. So, Carolyn, I wanted to take a moment to just single you out and say thank you, because that was the moment that you, in Shelly's mind, I made the right choice to be here. That moment was for her. So you did a lot of good in the world that day with that one little comment. And it's kind of a lesson. I reflected on this a little bit too. There's so many people that are so negative about everything right now, whether it's politics or masks or coronavirus or whatever else. There's just so much negativity. All it takes is one person to be positive to really change somebody's day, like Carolyn did for Shelly. You know, you had no idea, Carolyn, but it was a huge impact. And you know, we don't get a lot of negative people calling us. It's not like there was a deluge of negative calls and then you were the one ray of sunshine. But that one comment that you made, that welcome to the family comment, reinforced it and stood out to her enough that in her first conversation with me since we had hired her, I interviewed her, I was part of the interview, and I had not talked to her till like day 3 in the service center. And we talked on the phone for an hour that day. And she specifically mentioned the conversation with you. So thank you for that. I appreciate it. Alrighty, my pleasure. That's a Chick-fil-A line. You can't say that. Oh, it's my pleasure. Carolyn, you're such a southern lady. I love you. Alrighty. Secure update or question, please call after the AfterSchrock. Okay. I will get a call out to you guys after the AfterSchrock. I'm going to copy this because once I close the AfterSchrock, I won't be able to do that. All right, sounds good. Last call for questions, guys. We're 53 minutes into the AfterSchrock, and I got to get going. So any questions, and then we can wrap it up here. Trying to think of recapping everything. Best of Omaha, 4 days left to vote. You can go to SchrockInnovations.com. You can click on the black banner in the middle of the screen and go vote for us in the Best of Omaha competition. That's 1. 2, Des Moines Soft Open is the 18th through the 23rd. Normal business hours, 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening, Tuesday through Saturday, and then Sunday from noon to 5. So please, if you are going to come in, if you would like to come in for the soft opening, please give us a call and request an invitation. That way you will get the robocall that goes out Monday. So tomorrow is too late because we got to pull the list Monday morning to send the call and to send the email. So it's going to be too late on Monday. Make sure you get a hold of us today, before 5 o'clock today, so that we can get you added to the list. You can call any service center. If you call one and they're too busy because of the maintenance special, just call a different one. You'll get through. You can leave it on the voicemail. You can just leave your name, your address, your phone number, and your email address. Everything that you would normally think, how would people contact me? You know, we don't need your Snapchat or anything like that. Just those things. That'll be good. And then we'll get you contacted. Steven, if you keep posting your phone number publicly here, these guys are going to call you back to help you with your secure update before we can even call you. That's just how our customers roll, you know. All right, guys, got to wrap it up. Thank you for joining us on the program today. We appreciate you being here. Preventative maintenance checkups on special right now. You can come in today from noon to 5 and drop off. All the service centers have open bench spots still. You can drop off, or if you want to, you can get a certificate at SchrockInnovations.com, and that certificate can be used 6 months into the future at your convenience. If you have a certificate, please use it now, because it's going to expire in a few weeks. And you know we're not going to, if you come in a week late, we're not going to blow you up over it. But try to use them before they expire. We appreciate it. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.